Hey everyone, this is Ruta. Today I want to talk about the top 4 mistakes I made as a first time CEO when it came to my finances. These are bad, but I'm sharing it in the hopes that it will help you to avoid these mistakes, especially as a first time CEO. I know a lot of successful CEOs that we see out there are second time, third time, fourth time CEOs, and obviously they've learned a lot in the process. But I think as a first time CEO who did my own thing, built $1 million business with no outside capital, not coming from a wealthy family, having zero famous friends, I still was able to do it. So I feel like it's my moral obligation to share what mistakes I made and for you to avoid it for sure. So let's talk about it. So here's how you take care of your finances. So the number one thing is you want to keep your, let me write it because I'm more visual. Separate. Apparently, I forgot to how to spell. Separate your bank accounts. What do I mean by that? Whenever you're running a business, if you're in the first year, probably don't worry about it. But if you're now becoming serious, if you're going from being self-employed to a real CEO, what you want to do is separate your business bank account to your personal bank account. And what I used to do before was everything was the same for me for the first 2 to 3 years of my business, and all the money used to come in it from the business used to come in that one account. That same account I used for my personal expenses and Netflix and travel and all of that. It was a huge mess. It was a huge mess when I wanted to give that data to my accountant. It was also a huge mess because I never knew what I was making, what my expenses were, what I had to cut down on, what I had to, where my money was going. There was no real way of going about it. And I know a lot of people will tell you, oh, worry about it when you make more money, but I don't think so. I think if you set up these procedures and processes when you're small, when your business gets bigger, it will only get more complicated, and then it's a hard time to develop these habits to fix your money and your finances. So I would say if you're not in the first year of business, and even if you are, I would say start doing it. It will only help you. So separate your business and personal accounts. The second thing I would say is this makes it easy as well. Take a fixed salary as a CEO. Coming back to my previous point as well, I didn't know better. I was a first time CEO. So I didn't take any salary because, again, there was no demarcation between the business and the personal, which means that some months were great, right? Some months I was making like $5,000, $8,000, and it was great. The next month, because I was, when I started my business, I worked as a freelancer. The next month, I would literally make zero. And I was like, what is going on? And when that money used to come into my bank account, I would spend it because I would feel rich for a month. But then the next time it happened, what happened is I would make zero, and then I was like, oh shit, how do I pay my bills now? So to save yourself from this mistake and not be as stupid as I was, you should take a decent monthly salary from your business account to your personal account. This way your expenses are taken care of, you're not stressed. Whatever extra profits you have in your good month stays in your business as cash reserves. And it is great because now when you have a zero month, if at all it happens, you want to avoid it, of course, but if at all it happens, you're at least not stressed like, oh, I have some reserves in my bank account. That's how you want to do it. I'm telling you, this is the cause of major stress for entrepreneurs who are like just starting out or don't have a consistent income yet. This will save you. So take a fixed salary as a CEO. Also, one more benefit to this is you will have a much easier time explaining things and sending data over to your accountant. They will be happy, you will be much happier, trust me, when the time for the taxes come. Okay, the third thing now, related point comes to taxes. You want to set aside your money already. Like, for example, you made $5,000 or $10,000 this month, right? You know you can do your taxes. Like, maybe just assume an approximate amount if you don't want to like go through the the income tax slab or whatever it is based on your country and the needs for it. You just assume, hey, my taxes are going to be 25%, so be conservative in that. Always put more money aside because it's never going to hurt. So you already, know that, okay, out of these $10,000, 25% of my profit goes into taxes. Put it in a separate bank account or create a special FD or something like that for it, so that you cannot touch that money, you cannot spend that money, and you get out from that, again, feast and famine mindset of, oh, I made $10,000, let me spend all of it. No, let's be responsible with our money from the start. Okay, so always plan for taxes beforehand. If you can maintain a Google Excel sheet simple with these matrix, it will really help you. Now the last thing to manage your finances is invest your money. So out of the fixed salary that you take as a CEO, let's assume 50% of that goes in your monthly expenses like rent, utilities, bills, some fun, some travel, all of it. So already budget for it, already create expectations around it, and let's say the other 50% you 100% want to save. If you keep it in your bank account, don't be delusional, you will spend it. Okay, so you want to save yourself from yourself, so invest it in, like, what you can do is invest it in FDs to have a certain amount of like safety net, invest in stocks, real estate, companies, etc. But I will say this, when I was starting out, without getting into complicated stuff, like, I now invest in companies and I now am able to do that. But when I was starting out, I did not have the amount or even the knowledge or wisdom to do it, or I didn't even understand the risk of it. So it would have been crazy bad if I did it at that point. So if you're starting out, my advice to you is just keep it simple. Start from FDs, create a habit out of just investing that 50% every single month into FDs. Do it for the first 3 months. Then for the next 3 months, start learning about stocks. I think stocks are such such a good way to invest your money, and they give like 10 to 15% returns, higher than FDs, and you get to learn a lot about how the company works. They're reading their financials, all of that. And even if you lose money, or even if you take a little bit of risk, it's not going to be a huge amount, because you are like doing it smartly and doing it step by step. Okay, so those are my 4 tips to manage your finances as a CEO. Let's summarize. Separate bank accounts for your business and personal stuff, then fixed salary as a CEO, then you want to account for taxes and be conservative in saving for taxes beforehand, and invest your money in FDs or stocks at the start, and then you go a little bit more fancier, be it like with real estate or by investing in other companies. All right, let me know in the comment below if this video was helpful. I would genuinely really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel and share it with anyone, any friend who needs this financial advice. Please share the video, I would love it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.